I'd like to welcome you all to the final in the stages in the series of 4 live instructional webinars designed to support the school annual online yearbook program. Today we'll be focusing on the functions that relate to proofing and submitting your pages. Specifically, we will be reviewing using VirtualBook, running spell check on pages, reviewing pages for duplicate portraits, completing pages, reversing completed pages, submitting pages, and getting your submit personalization ready to go. We will also be getting proper paperwork filled out and make sure everything's submitted on time. This webinar will be approximately 20 to 30 minutes. I don't see it lasting that long. So let's go ahead and get started. First and foremost, we want to go ahead and touch on this again. The bleeds and margins. Basically, what the bleeds and margins are is right here in the red. Let's go ahead and zoom in here real quick. So your bleeds and margins are this area right here. Uh, this gray area represents right about where the page is actually going to start being trimmed. Your trim line is roughly about a 1/8 inch plus minus. So right here, uh, make sure that any images. So here we go. So any images that are right here, double check those. Yeah, if you think that a is might be might have their head trimmed right here or something like that, you may want to think about maybe lowering that image or replacing that image altogether, or simply just moving that image altogether as well. Some images might be fine. You might get away with an image like this, but remember there is that plus and minus. So the top of her head could be, I mean, it could be something as simple as like this, or as simple as this right here. So that's something you may want to think about as well. But also simply make the image a little bit larger. You may avoid any trim right there. So that's one thing to take into consideration. The gray area right here represents the bleed line. So if you have a background, you want to make sure that background is all the way here in the inside the gray area and not backed off a little bit. Otherwise, you may end up with uh, the paper we use, of course, is white. You may end up with a little white line, so it kind of looks odd. Looks like it was either miscut or mistrimmed or something. But really, what it is just the background just didn't get all the way inside the bleed line. So now you have this white line, looks like it's misprinted or something. So to avoid that, make sure your images are all the way here inside the bleed line. The blue line right here is the safe area, hits the green. Anything inside this blue area will be seen just fine. All right, anything between the blue line and the red line right here is what we call the no man's land. That right there, it could be safe, it could look good and all that. So really just keep everything, it's either inside the blue area, or if it's outside, please watch that trim line to see if a picture or an image, it might be in trouble or might be need to be moved or something like that. Simply go to your print preview, and right here you will see a print preview. The black and white dotted line represents your trim line, so you can kind of see right where everything's going to be trimmed right here. So that gives you an idea that maybe you need to go back in and move this image down. All right, so let's go to the next page. And here, so here on our page right here, one of the first things I may want to do is go here to the print preview and just kind of look at everything, check images where they're at, right? Like right here, I have one that's a little bit close to the trim line. I may want to go back and fix that. Here I got a clip art that is in the trim line. May want to move that over just a little bit. All right. Then, well, here, before we do that, let me back up here real quick. Before you do all that, let's go here to your sales and then come down to submit personalization. Almost overlooked this. So here's, if you have any personalized books or need to submit any personalized books, first you're going to confirm your color choice. You're going to select the payment status to include personalization, um, like either, of course, paid in full. If they paid in full, they get their personalized uh, book. You can also include partial pays. You can include non-paid if you want to, or you can uncheck that box. Here it will show you the total students on record. So right here, I have 6 students. I have are going to receive personalized ads, or 6 on record. Number of students recorded with personalization. Sorry, 0 right here. So out of 6 students who purchased, 0 have purchased personalized. You may have something different. This is just my demo account. So once you have that, then boxes in book alphabetized by alpha is last name, either by grade or homeroom. So just check which one you want them alphabetized by, and then just click submit. Please make sure you do this before you submit your book, so that way they can get a list and um, make sure that they have a list of who all is getting personalized books. That way they can get a jump on those and get those done up real quick. Okay, so now we can go back to this page right here. So some of the things we ask you to do, and you're going to hear me say this a lot, is proof your book, look it over. It is highly suggested that you have somebody else look over your book after you're done with it. I know a lot of schools will have a principal or a counselor, someone who's has to sign off on the book before you can actually submit it. But it still wouldn't hurt to still have somebody else look at the book before you submit. So here on the book, we're going to look at a few things. We're going to check the text boxes for spelling, and we're going to run a spell check. To do that, you can either click on the spell check icon right here, or if you want to see all the issues on the pages, we highly suggest you come down here to the 3 little dots with a little purple dot right here in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. If you click on that, it will bring up this section right here for comments. The next tab over is that triangle with an exclamation point in it. If you click that, this is your pre-flight. This will tell you everything that is currently an issue with the page. So looking in the text box for correct spelling, you can see right here that Miss Smith is missing an I. So we can click right here, click again, and then we can fix her spelling. If you see a red X, that means there's more text than the box can handle or it can display. In this case, what we have is the common issue of someone has maybe pushed enter, or there's an extra space or something. Something has gone below the text right there, or if this was something that was copied and pasted, chances are there was an extra character right there. So to fix this extra character, all we have to do is push the backspace, and the cursor is right there next to the H. Then we move off of that. We can see that there's no more red box there, so that's all fixed. So some of these some of these errors on the page, you will see like a little yellow box with a triangle exclamation point right here. These are signaling that these are errors on the page. So let's look on the right here, some of these. So the first one is an image element remains unedited. What this is a image frame that is this right here. This is an image frame that has nothing in it. Either, and this happens a lot too, a lot of times an image will be put over there and the advisor thinks that an image went inside it, and it didn't. It could be that the image was just um, a hair smaller than the actual box, and so it was just dropped on top of the box. A lot of times, that uh, image frame is behind an image right here. So if you see this little mark right here, and you're like, well, where is it? That the image is fine. That's the image I wanted. It's not the image. It's what's behind the image that you probably need to be looking at. So that's easy to eliminate. All you have to do is click on the first one right here, and it will highlight it on the page. If you push delete on your keyboard, that will take it away. Now the error message will still be there until after you hit save. So once you hit save, you will see that the error message is gone. Even though it still says number one, and we had like two or three on there. Uh, Once you fix number one, two and three will move up the page, and they'll become the new number one. So then we're going to click on this, and we're going to see a text element remains unedited. So it's just a text element, a text box up right here that was just brought over. It just put on the page right there, and it just forgot about. A lot of people who have staff, sometimes this happens. They think they brought over a text box, and then they got distracted, and they're like, "Oh, I had to bring another text box over." So there's still one more. So look for text boxes, and um, they like to hide right here in the areas where it's a little bit darker and it's hard to see them. So there you can click on the text box, delete it, save, and then you will get a little picture right here. This lets you know there's no more errors on this page. And if you want to, you can actually click right here, mark as complete, and you'll get a little padlock right here and here. This lets you know that is now complete. Now if we come over here to this page, here we get a lot of like text box. So we have a little text box right here. Again, if you click right here, it will highlight it on the page. Just push delete. Another text box right here. Sometimes it's just out in the open. It was put on there for a reason. It just never got edited. So you can just either edit or you can remove it. Another text box in an area where it's a little darker, a little hard to see. An image frame right there in the open. Another image frame here was the same thing. Like I said, an image was placed over there, and it just was just dropped and not placed inside the image frame. So you could do one of two things. You could just remove the image frame and move that picture and keep that picture on there, or you could just select a new photo. It's up to you. So once we find everything, oh, one more. So once we find everything, again, we can just mark that complete, and then we just move on to the next page. Okay, so once again, here you have this page right here. You have little special characters right here. Those of you that have used this kind of template in the past will know that sometimes these elements, you had to go in and redo these elements. This year, any candid page with a special element right here looks like that has been fixed, but still is a good idea to check and make sure like little things like this don't need to be retyped or re-edited or anything like that. Another thing we want to do when we're uh, checking the pages, we want to look and make sure like the name is correct, images are correct. And the other thing we want to do is we want to come here and we want to look at the portrait pictures. Make sure the names are matching up with the students here. If you get to the step, if you get to the second row right here, here is where we see some common issues. Here you have the same name on three different students. So this is something that might get your book returned to you and say, hey, here we have an issue. We see three different names, or we see something that's not correct. Um, right here on the next row, we see the same three images. So that's something you need to double check your images, double check your student names. Another one here is we have a teacher image that is down here at the bottom, when maybe it should have been up here at the top. So that's something, again, to check your portraits before you start submitting your book. Okay, so after you've gone through yourself and looked at every single page, um, starting from page 1 all the way down to page 25, page 60, page 150, um, checking for little things, checking for spelling, checking for appropriate images, checking for make sure that the portraits are correct, names are correct. Something else we want to do, making sure that backgrounds like this and the names are legible. So go into a print preview and then looking if you can read the names perfectly okay on this on a screen like this, then that's fine. If you can't, if you're sitting there like, that's it's not legible or I don't like that, then that right there should be a reason just to go in and maybe reset the flow on these names and change the name, the color on the names, or maybe just simply just go in and choose a do background. Something just simple as that. Change the background, if your book allows it, or if it's set up that way, you can simply just change the background to something that works. But now that we have all that done and we have everything proof on our own, we want to maybe send this book to someone else, to a principal, to counselor, to another teacher to review. What you can do is you can come up to print and do print all. So here in the upper right hand corner, it's going to generate a PDF. If you want to, you can also say you want your first grade teacher to preview just their page. You can check right here in the upper left hand corner, just check the box right next to it, come up to print and print selected. What that will do is print just those two pages, and then you can send those pages, or well, actually print. What we'll do is put those pages in a PDF, and then from there you can take that PDF, you can email it to the teacher and have them check that page out. You can also print the page ladder. I'm waiting for this PDF. It may take depending on the number of pages and how much are on there, the generating PDF may take a little bit. So just be patient with that. To begin the process of actually submitting the book, or to mark the book in a completed status, first we're going to click this little button right here that says select all. When we select all, every one of these pages will be selected. Then we're going up to the actions, and then we're going to hit the word complete. Here you will get a status update. You will see completed 53 pages. Pages failed. They will let you know which pages have either failed or pages you may need to go look at again. It's always a good idea to sit before you click the OK button, to sit here and write down the page numbers, so that way you don't have to go down and try to find them all, because it's easy to skip one. Click OK, and then from there you can just go back and fix the ones that need to be fixed. Everyone else should be in green. Now it is at this time right now that all the pages marked in green, that is your proof. That is your proof of the book. So again, this is one last time to go in and proof your book. Take a look at it again, have a fresh pair of eyes, look at it again. And if needed, you can click this little button right here in the upper right hand corner, this little arrow, return. So you can return that book, go back in and make any edits. Then once you're done making any edits, you can mark it complete. It's now in the completed status. It's green and it's locked. So let's go back up here to the PDF right here. You'll see this little icon that you can click on and it will open up the book in a PDF. And then right here is where you can send, uh, email this PDF or print this PDF. Real quick, if you do if you do go to print it, make sure under more settings, you have fit area. If it's default, come on, there we go. If it's default, what it will happen, it will look like this. You'll miss the right side and the bottom of it. It'll just look off. It'll look like it's not printing correctly. So make sure it says print in printable to printable area, and then that way you can see the full page. Okay, once you're done and you have completed the whole page, everything is signed off. You're told you can now submit. Just come up to select all under actions. Then you can hit submit and it will submit the book. All the pages will go from green to black and it will say the word submit on them. Once it's in the submitted status, the pages, the advisor, cannot return the pages. For any reason that you find an error or you see something that was not correct, you have 24 hours to get a hold of your rep and have your rep put in a request to return the pages to you. During this time, you should also get a message with the confetti. You'll also get the little congratulations confetti on your page ladder right here. You'll also receive a message within, I believe, roughly the next 48 hours with a congratulations email, the email verifying the shipping address, the number of books, um, the options agreed upon with you between you and the sales rep, and an invoice that is attached. So you'll start getting that in the mail as well. And again, you'll have time if something's not correct or whatever. You need to get a hold of your rep as soon as possible to make those changes. All right, at this time, if you have any questions, um, you can feel free to ask. But real quick before you actually submit your book, it is highly advised you go back to your go to create and go to your image library. For those of you that have renewed for 2025, it is highly suggested that you go to, like, maybe you want some staff folders images for next year. Click on the word staff and then click on 2025 and then send those images to your 25 book. Also, if you have any images or anything from your 23 book, it's a great idea to go to your 23 book and have some of that stuff move forward too, because later on this summer we will not be able to access your 23 book anymore. So anything in your My 2023 images right here, go ahead and move those out to your portrait and then move those to your 25 book. So that way they'll be there waiting for you.
Well, last year they had totally different.
Right. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask. You're free to take yourself off of mute and ask, or ask them in chat.
That is correct, yes. Two separate schools. Even though there's one school, it's considered two separate schools.
All right, go ahead and read this outro here real quick. I want to thank you all for joining us today. The demonstrations of the functions related to finalizing your pages in the school annual yearbook program may reduce stress sometimes associated with meeting deadlines. Please feel free to contact us or your representative for any assistance that you may need during this process. We would like to thank you all for using our book, and we look forward to seeing you next year, and definitely look forward to seeing your creations. Yes, if you have a question, you can go ahead and ask.
That was one of the things, but yeah, that was one of the things we wanted to change.
If you could, you can type out if you want to. You don't have to actually take yourself off of mute. Okay, if your pages are, you mean if your pages are marked complete, how do you get them back? Um, if your pages are marked complete, all you have to do is just hit select all, and then under actions, you can return, or you can just click on return here next to each page that you need to return. Yes, everyone who signs up gets a copy of this webinar, gets a video link, and it will also be located here on our YouTube channel as well.
Real same.
So with the return right here,
That was
right here in the upper right hand corner of each page, you will see a little arrow that's pointing to the left. If you click that, that will return the page to in progress status. If you need to do it on a mass scale, you can uh, click the box next to select all, then under actions, click return. Then you'll get return 51 pages. Click OK, and then all the pages that were completed are now in progress status, which means you could go in and start editing the pages.